for being here. We're being grateful today. And I already know, because people that practice yoga, we are actually practicing awareness, which means we know what's going on around us. And it's still, and in ourselves, but it still doesn't, make everything rosy and perfect. So we check in with gratitude. That brings us into the present moment, and it can help us feel good. And then when we feel good, we're more grateful. So it's this nice big circular circle of goodness. But I am going to invite you to just lie down. You can take the shape of Shavasana or knees bent, however you would like to be. Just be grateful for your body as it is right here, this moment today, for your breath, for each other that are here today for the practice, and for the practice itself. While you're here breathing, I will share this story. I got this book years ago at a Starbucks, actually in Burbank in 2003. And it's called How Many People Does It Take to Make a Difference? And it has a big engraved 1 on it. So one of the stories in here is called So Who Are You Really? By Scott Sable, PhD. Seattle is a beautiful place, but in the 1980s, I was living in a beat-up beach cabin. I had an old TV, a lumpy futon, and one of those white plastic princess phones. I was basically broke, but my noisy old refrigerator was stuffed with fresh vegetables, eggs, fruit, beer, and frozen pizza. And I had a spectacular view of Puget Sound, the Olympic Mountains, and the Seattle skyline. That year, I volunteered to host a college exchange student from Guinea-Bissau, Africa. When I picked him up at the airport, Salvatore was easy to spot. He was 23, tall, and regal looking, with a huge smile and lustrous blue-black skin. He had lived his entire life as a barefoot fisherman in a small native village located on a big river deep in the jungle of Guinea-Bissau. And now his village has raised the money to send him to study US fisheries on their behalf. He had traveled directly from his African village to Seattle, and I could see he was astonished at what he saw as we drove through the beautiful city. When we arrived at my raggedy cabin, I worried that Salvatore might be disappointed with his new accommodations. He seemed somber as I showed him the little bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, TV, and telephone. What was he thinking? I decided to take him out on the little deck to try to impress him with the view. The snow-clad mountains were spread out against the sky that day, and one of Seattle's majestic white ferries was gliding across the sparkling waters of Puget Sound. We stood there silently for a while, and then Salvatore turned to me with his brow deeply knit in thought. "You are a king?" he asked. "No," I laughed. "I'm just an everyday person like you." He was silent for a moment, and then he turned again and said quite clearly and emphatically, "You are a king." And it suddenly dawned on me that he was right. All these years I had been a king and not known it. A good message in there. For the next several breaths, if you would like, you can use the mantra, inhaling, I am, exhaling, grateful. That's always an invite. You can always put a different word in that you need to soothe your soul today. Just let your body breathe. Keep noticing each inhale and exhale. Your mind will wander and then you'll come right back to the breath. Spend a couple more minutes here. Just notice if you need to change your shape. If you can let yourself relax about 5% more, just letting go. Inhaling, I am. Exhaling, grateful. You can release the mantra and bring your hands to heart center. Checking in with your heart space. Grateful for those few moments to be instead of do. Knowing if we, as we move forward and we move the body, that you could be paused and in stillness the whole time. That is the practice. The shapes are just part of it. They're not the be all end all. And let's send some love out into the world. You can release your arms out into a T. And let's start just by rolling the head slowly side to side. You don't even have to find your end range. You can just turn the head gently, any amount. If you allow your head to be heavy, you can feel kind of a massage on the back of the skull, the occipital bones kind of at the base of the skull. And we'll take one more time each way. And when you come back to center, you'll decide this part is for strengthening the neck muscles, but it can be intense. So just thinking about it counts. You might want to bring your arms down by your sides and turn your palms down. And then you lift the head the teeniest amount. It's basically an eighth of an inch. And then you lower down, rest, pause. You'll feel when you do that, you'll feel the muscles on your neck working. That's how we get stronger, is to use the muscles. Not always easy though. All right, let's try it one more time, maybe. A little lift. Don't forget to breathe. Tiny little lift. And lower. And then you might want to turn your head just a couple of times each way, releasing tension. You can bend your knees and bring your feet to the ground. Maybe take them a little wider and let your knees fall together. Arms by your sides, and we'll start with one arm reaching up and over. Bringing it back down and switching sides. Just one arm at a time. See if you can move slowly. We could all practice that, moving slowly. I'm always rushing around, and I know better. When you know better, you do better, says Maya Angelou, but I keep going and going and going. Notice your breath. And we'll take one more with each arm. And let your arms float again into the T. Take your feet a little wider, and let's take some windshield wipers. Gently, gently, side to side. And you might start with a small distance. At any point, you can increase it or not. And you can turn the head if you want to, the opposite way, but we already did some neck stuff. So maybe just let the head rest. And we'll take a couple more, side to side. When you come back to center, let the knees fall together again. Bring your hands to your belly, pausing and breathing. Let your shoulders soften. Allow your jaw to relax. And you might notice your belly rise and fall, but you're not trying to create that movement. Just breathing in and out. Three more breaths here. And you can draw your knees in toward your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. You can point and flex with the ankles and feet, one and then the other. And let your feet rest. Hold one hand on each knee and we'll make some leg circles. Noticing the breath and how this movement feels today. These are movements that we do repetitively. But every time we show up to practice, we're a little bit different. So how can we experience the pose today? Switching direction. And releasing the legs. You can stretch them out if you'd like, or keep them bent. Take your arms, reach them out or up and over, taking up some space, some variation of starfish. Let your whole body inhale and exhale. Invite that feeling of filling up and letting go. You might think about something or someone that you are grateful for here in this moment. 3 more breaths. Whole body inhales and exhales. And slowly releasing the arms, drawing your legs in again, knees toward your chest. And this time you'll keep the legs together and you'll make some circles holding the legs together. Switching direction. And releasing again, legs long or not, starfish or any shape. If you have your knees bent, you can take your arms in a T or reach them up and over. Just taking up space, allowing time to be and to breathe with awareness. Inhaling, I am. Exhaling, grateful. You can keep your arms where they are. The legs will go long if they're not, and then left leg off to the left and right leg follows. So we take a side stretch here. Your pelvis is grounded, so you don't want to tip over like fetal pose. You want both sides of the buttocks down. Maybe arms in a T, maybe arms up and over. And you may even want to do, remember, shimmy, shimmy, cocoa puff, shimmy asana, wiggle asana. You make the shape of crescent moon. One side becomes quite contracted and the other side feels very spacious and long. Breathe into all of it. One more breath here. And then just the upper body can kind of come back to neutral, scooting, figuring out how to bring the torso back. Taking another breath here. And then we'll switch the legs. Right leg to the right. Left leg can follow, maybe hooking the leg, maybe side by side. Keep both sides of your pelvis grounded. And you decide, you can take a couple of breaths right here. And then maybe you want to make that shape of crescent moon by taking the torso the same direction as the legs, maybe reaching the arms up and over any amount. Really notice the breath here on the side that is contracted and the side that is now very spacious. Just the upper body coming back to a more neutral feel. And then we'll take 2 more breaths with the legs still off to the side. And you can bring the legs back. And let's hug the knees in again, like an upside down child's pose. You can allow the knees to be a little wider and big toes touch. Nice gentle stretch on the hips and the low back. Let's take a few breaths here. And releasing your legs. We'll keep the knees bent and feet planted. We're going to try a few bridges today, and I think we'll add toes just for fun. But let's start with arms down because we've had them all over the place. Let's start with arms down, maybe palms facing down, connecting through the heels, through the strong butt, lifting the pelvis and lowering. And before we add the toes, let's just get the hips twice more, pressing down to rise up. Now perhaps you'll try hips lift, toes lift, hips lower, toes lower. Nice and slow, no rushing. We'll do twice more with the toes or without. Pausing. You can take tripod legs again, knees fall together, feet a little wider, hands to belly or one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Being instead of doing. Breathe in, breathe out. You may choose to stay right here, enjoying this shape. Or we're going to take 3 more bridges. You can add your arms or not. I'm going to keep mine down, palms down. This time, when you lift up into the bridge, at the top of your bridge, squeeze the butt, really squeeze it. And then slowly release and lower down, using all of the big gluteal muscles. Coming up, press down, lift up. You're using the butt to get there, but when you get up there, squeeze the butt. And then release and come down. One more time, lifting, squeezing. My legs are shaking. Releasing and lowering. All right, I'm going to grab your cushion or blanket or pillow, something to bring your pelvis on. So in supported bridge, lifting the pelvis, getting just right. Make sure you feel comfortable. Again, here you might take tripod legs. We'll move in a moment, but right now we can check in after those bridges, maybe cactus arms or T arms. You can bring your awareness to your heart center again. And from our heart space, we will think about something or someone that aggravates us, maybe, or pushes our buttons, all the buttons, and see if we can find some sort of gratitude for that. They're teaching us patience, or the situation is reminding us that we have choices. We can pause and breathe. We can set boundaries. Inhaling, I am. Exhaling, grateful. Notice here if there's any part of your body that could relax a little more. Shoulders, jawline, fingers, toes, eyelids. Breathing in, I am. Breathing out, grateful. We'll spend about another minute here. From here, draw your knees in toward your chest. Have the support of the cushion here. Big breath in and out. And then you can take the legs up and down, both at the same time if you'd like, or one and then the other. Just straightening and bending. You can use your arms to help hold the legs, or you can let your arms rest. Next time, both legs are up in the sky. You can add your arms. We'll circle wrists and ankles. So it's resting bug, but we have support under the pelvis. Allow your circles to be slow enough so we feel, we're aware. And you can switch direction. And then let the legs and arms go apart and together. And apart and together. Any amount, it can be the tiniest amount, does not matter. And we'll do it twice more. And bring the limbs back down, and let's thread the needle, left leg on top. So many choices here, you know them. So choose, right foot stays down, or you draw the legs in. You can hold the legs or not. You can have the bottom leg, the right leg, up into the sky if that's nice. And we're just here breathing, checking in with this left hip. You can take a few breaths in a few of those shapes if you'd like. Change it up or not. You might invite a big audible exhale out of the mouth. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. And slowly we release this side. Pause just for a couple breaths to notice left hip and leg versus the right. And then right leg on top. All the variations, all the possibilities, plenty of time to explore and breathe. Grateful for our hips. Maybe a big inhale and open mouth exhale. Three more breaths on this side. When you release, pause and notice. If you would like to take a whole body stretch here, you can slide the legs out, maybe reach the arms up and over. Big breath in and out. Take a couple more. And you can release your arms and bend your knees. Yogi's choice here. You can hug the knees in toward your chest. If you would like, you could take happy baby. You could also just enjoy a few more minutes with legs up in the sky. About a minute and a half here. So if you want to take a couple different shapes, you can. Slowly, you'll come down, bringing your feet to your mat or the ground. Taking a full breath here, maybe open mouth, exhale. Lifting up off your cushion. When you come down, you might just rest right here with your pelvis on the ground, feet on the ground. If it feels good, you can draw your legs in. Your body always knows. Like you probably came down and instantly some of you wanted to take your legs in, and that's perfect. And stretching out into Shavasana, also perfect. So when you are ready, you can straighten your legs out over the cushions, add any props that you need, supporting your head and your neck. I have an extra cushion here, but you can always add a blanket or a cushion. This is kind of a big pillow, but it can feel very grounding and soothing to have something kind of thighs, pelvis, unless of course you have to use the restroom, then you won't want any pressure on your belly. So make sure maybe just thighs. Each exhale, letting yourself relax and show up for Shavasana, for this most important pose where we rest, we replenish. All the work we've done settles. And please stay and rest longer if you would like. This is a short Shavasana. My apologies for that. If you're ready to begin the rest of your evening, then take a few deep breaths and wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take a full body stretch, reaching. Again, taking up all the space that you would like. Big breath in and out. And roll to your side, fetal pose. Pause there. Beginning from this place, the pose of new beginnings. Start your evening from here. Maybe sharing what you're grateful for with someone else or writing it down. You can bring yourself up to sit. And place your hands at heart center. Bow your head in toward your heart. I'm grateful for each and every one of you showing up. Thank you. Thank you for being here, creating our perfect community for today. Take great care. See you soon.